There is a quiet assumption most of us carry without questioning it, that aging is simply the clock moving forward, a slow, unstoppable drift toward fatigue, slower healing, fading memory, weakening muscles. We are taught that these changes are inevitable, that time itself is the enemy. But biology tells a far more complex story. Inside your body right now, trillions of microscopic reactions are happening every second. Cells are repairing DNA, generating energy, building proteins, and replacing damaged components. Your body is not passively aging. It is constantly fighting to stay alive. And at the center of this fight is a small molecule most people have never heard of, NAD+, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. This molecule is one of the most essential substances in human biology. Without it, your cells cannot produce energy, your DNA cannot properly repair itself, your metabolic systems begin to collapse. Every living cell in your body depends on NAD+. But there is a problem. As we age, NAD+ levels decline dramatically. By the time many people reach middle age, their NAD+ levels can fall by nearly 50% compared to when they were young. This drop triggers a cascade of biological consequences. Mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside cells, begin to malfunction. Cells produce less energy, muscles feel weaker, fatigue becomes more common. At the same time, DNA repair mechanisms become less efficient. Over time, microscopic damage accumulates inside the genome. Inflammation increases, metabolism slows, the body becomes less resilient. Aging, in many ways, begins to look less like time passing and more like a shortage of cellular fuel. Scientists have spent decades trying to understand how to restore this fuel. That is where NMN enters the story. NMN stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide. It is a naturally occurring molecule found in small amounts in foods like broccoli, avocado, cabbage, and edamame. But inside the body, NMN plays a much more critical role. It acts as a precursor to NAD+. In simple terms, NMN is one of the building blocks your body uses to produce NAD+. When NMN enters the bloodstream, specialized enzymes convert it into NAD+ inside cells. This process replenishes the declining levels that occur with age. For scientists studying aging, this discovery was electrifying, because if declining NAD+ contributes to aging, then restoring it might reverse some of the biological processes that drive aging itself. The question became unavoidable. What actually happens inside the body when NMN levels increase? To answer that question, researchers began studying NMN in laboratories around the world. One of the most influential scientists in this field is Dr. David Sinclair, a geneticist at Harvard Medical School. He has spent decades investigating the biology of aging. In controlled studies using mice, Sinclair and other researchers observed something remarkable. When older mice were given NMN, their cells rapidly began producing more NAD+. Within days, measurable biological changes started appearing. Mitochondria, the cellular power plants responsible for energy production, began functioning more efficiently. Energy output increased, muscle endurance improved. Some tissues began behaving more like those of younger animals. But the most fascinating part of the process happens deep inside the cell nucleus. Because NAD+ is not only used for energy, it is also required by a group of powerful proteins known as sirtuins. Sirtuins are sometimes called the longevity genes. These proteins regulate cellular stress responses, DNA repair, inflammation, and metabolic balance. But there is a catch. Sirtuins cannot function without NAD+. When NAD+ levels fall with age, sirtuin activity drops as well. This is where NMN begins to create a ripple effect. As NMN increases NAD+ levels, sirtuins suddenly have the fuel they need to activate again. It is like restoring electricity to a network that has been slowly shutting down. And once that network reactivates, multiple systems across the body begin to shift. DNA repair pathways accelerate, inflammatory signals begin to calm, metabolic regulation improves, cells become better at handling stress. But one of the earliest and most noticeable changes occurs in a place most people never think about: They're mitochondria. These microscopic structures produce ATP, the energy currency of life. Every heartbeat, every breath, every movement depends on ATP. When mitochondria weaken, the entire body feels it. Fatigue increases, physical performance declines, brain fog becomes more common.